And so today happens to be the perfect timing then to have the amazing Shari Lillico with us. She's one of our VIPs with Brave Leaders Rising. And more than ever, we need self-care practices. We need spiritual practices. But the thing is that a lot of people are finding, even with their typical things that normally work, they're still a little bit off. So Shari, welcome, because I cannot wait for people to talk to you.
Thank you, Cindy. It's very nice to be here. I'm excited to actually share some stuff. So.
Yeah, I am too, because I still remember when I met you, and then I started to dig deeper into your work, and I'm like, oh, I thought I saw it all. And I'm like, she's got some special wizard stuff going on. She's got some amazing insights. And I still remember that time I did a session with you, and you literally healed my knee. It was like a 20-year knee injury. I had been to a million different actual like physical therapists, to natural healers, to acupuncture, you name it, I did it. And as you're like, wiggle, 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 half an hour later, it's being like healed. And I was like, okay. So you have some really, really deep knowledge around healing and spirituality and being balanced. So it's super, super exciting to have you here. So more than ever, the world is, every single time that we have another world event, it just seems to think that, oh my God, could it get any worse? Is it just me, or are we going through some kind of an awakening, and that's why we keep getting these events to wake us up? Is that what's going on?
It is actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got multiple layers of that awakening actually happening, and we started a new one this year, but even going back last year, um, the Gaias are changing. So if for the people who don't know who Gaia is like the mother of the earth. She she kind of looks after the whole, right? And she's been with us for years and years, like thousands and thousands of years. and she is retiring, and a new one is coming in. So with the new one, of course, they're taking it slow and transitioning. But with the new one, even her energy is now starting to infuse everything. But she wants everything to come through the heart.
Yeah.
So very heart-centered. So out of the mind, right? And into the heart. Even when we when we do anything, when we ground, when we look at our stuff, and when we communicate with everybody.
Yeah.
We had that conversation with Alice last week about communication, but it's all coming from the heart, right? It's like really, really centered on the heart.
And I love that you're talking about this, and there's a few comments I have. And the first is that when you talk about the mind, now with my work, because you've been in my tribe for a while, I'm always and have been for decades around, we've got to stop selling. Listen, for the business people watching, we've got to stop selling the way that we've been selling. Funnels, sales tactics, all that stuff. People have been complaining, oh, I spent $15,000 to create a funnel and it doesn't work. And I'm like, because people are not people are not coming from their head anymore. Mm-hmm. We are being, whether you like it or not, we have had one world event after the other that is shaking us to our core, and it's forcing us, I'd like to say it's gently encouraging us, but we keep getting whacked and it's like, fuck. It's it's like, it's not terribly gentle. And a lot of the times it's like, there's COVID. I'm like, okay. So, we're being, whacked out all the time. And it's shaking us up. And the people who are surrendering to it and seeing that, it's like, oh, there's something new coming in. The old world order is no longer working. Yeah. So in the business world, this is why a lot of people are no longer converting. And I've been teaching for years, as you know, how to connect from the heart with your ideal clientele and stop doing sales tactics and stop doing all that crazy. But even for people who are not in the business world, because we have a lot of different artists and, healers watching as well, it's also even them who have been doing a lot of the deeper work. They're like, something isn't, like you talked about the new Gaia coming in, which is really the energy. It's not like the physical earth is going to go kapow, although it might with all the shit that's going on, you know. And then ta-da, and then it pops out of a box and suddenly we're like, and that's not going to happen. Or who knows, right? But this new energy of Gaia that is coming in after thousands of years, has it been thousands of years since the
Thousands of years,
God,
thousands and
this
thousands.
is like such an awakening. And people are talking about the awakening, Shari, but you're the first person I've talked to actually is telling us that the Gaia is coming in the new energy of it. And so many, that's another reason why people who are surrendering to this process and doing the inner work are really struggling. So you've mentioned that a lot of it was, we got to move from the mind to here. But I remember that one of the times we were talking, you were also talking about how normally we ground through our feet,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not as effective. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So previous, and I mean, we still do, but, and we still go through our feet, or you still can go through your feet, but you've got to come into your heart first. So it's
Right.
not just, oh, let's just, go from our head down to our this and this and this and down to our feet and into the ground.
Okay.
Because, and then, but we can still do that, but we need to actually come into our heart first, bring that energy into our heart and take that energy from our heart down and up. And so then it can flow both ways, right? But
Mhm.
to actually ground, we want to come in heat to the heart and then down so that the energy can come up to the heart and down to the heart. Because
Yeah.
it's like I said, everything she wants us to really, really focus in on our heart.
Yeah, I love that. And we do. I mean, it is really easy for us to shut our hearts down,
Yes.
especially as it's becoming more and more difficult. Um, and what I also intuitively got through what you were talking about is that it's not just about grounding down. It's about a full embodiment that is centered in the heart. When you were talking about the up and the down and the expansiveness, and I got so much expansiveness, and even now I'm getting shivers, that it's about this integration. And again, it's about embodiment. It's about embodiment. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Before we talk about why a lot of people are doing work on themselves and it's helping, but it doesn't always stick, I want to take a moment for those of you who want to learn more about Shari. Be sure to go to sharilillico.com/services. You can see all the wonderful, beautiful, amazing things. Like I said, literally in less than half an hour, healed a knee issue that has been for over for 30 years. And I was like, oh my God, I can dance again. Um,
Yay.
it was amazing. And Shari is a Brave Leaders Rising member. And next week, she is going to be going and actually doing some activations and healings in our nation event. Memberships range from €22 to €99. And it's an amazing opportunity to be part of a beautiful community of truly heart-centered, wise, deeply wise souls. So you can always check that out at braveleadersrising.com/events. Okay, so let's talk, Shari, about this next piece. So when you introduced me this concept to me as to why we do all this work and it sticks for a bit and then it suddenly goes, or it solves a little bit and then it's like the next day I'm like, shit, something else just happened, right? Um, so where talk to us about the big insight that you shared with me and all of our wonderful Brave Leaders Rising members and that you'll be doing some work with next week on.
Okay. So there's a couple layers to this actually. First, um, why it's not sticky. I mean, anybody who's been in the self-development world knows that we have layers and we need to get down into the root of the layers to actually get it gone, right?
Right.
Right. So but even once we get that gone, sometimes that makes us feel off-centered. It doesn't actually align us to everything, right?
Yeah.
So what I've been working, I haven't been formally trained in personal grids, but I see them, I've worked with them. So we had our personal grids, but then one day it was just a huge download, and it was, we actually have grids, earthly grids, and we have cosmic grids. So complete universal. And when we can align those, or align our personal and connect them into the cosmic and the earthly, everything just aligns and just feels complete,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. And I want to, you gave the example of what the grids are like. They're kind of like your skeleton.
there.
So it's kind of like you've got your liver and your kidneys and your muscles, but if you don't have the skeleton, they're not going to function very well for very long. Um,
Well,
for
it's,
skeleton and
yeah, it's like if one bone is broke, like
yeah,
if one bone is broke, then the connection isn't quite there, right? Things don't work,
yeah,
especially like a vertebrae or something like that. And our vertebrae is one of our main pieces of our skeleton, whereas the grids are our foundational energetic fields. Is the way I see them. I don't.
yeah, yeah. You see,
Other
yeah.
people may see them different. That's the way I see them. I see them as a foundational piece. So if there's something in the grids that are broken, or severed, or misaligned somehow or another, right? Then we're just not fully.
We've got that wonky stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like with everybody's, I'm not going to say everybody, but I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's nervous systems are out of whack to an extent. I mean, somebody like you and I, we do a lot of, meditation and breathing. And for me, a lot of what helps me to release is movement and sound as well. Um, but for a lot of us, even those of us doing this deep work, it's making sure that that skeleton structure is in alignment. And otherwise, it's a lot harder. Do you find that when we have that alignment with the grid, with not just the personal grid, but the cosmic grids and the earth grids, and it's all integrated, do you also find that people are able to manifest faster or have deeper intuition? Is there other pieces to this that are benefits aside from the fact that you don't feel wonky anymore, that you feel fully embodied and and
Oh,
healthy?
um, things definitely are easier. I had one client that I've been working with. Um, she was able to. I got her aligned and that kind of stuff. And yeah, things are coming to her easier. So yes,
Yeah,
that is what I'm hoping will be the trend in this.
yeah.
It is what I've seen, and I hope it is a sustainable trend.
I know for me personally, every time that I can really get myself back into alignment, I everything is like tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick. I'm like, well, that was magical. It doesn't mean we don't still have challenges, but it seems easier to be able to surrender into those feeling a little bit wonky or a lot wonky. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's easier to walk into a challenge and get through it. You know that there's something. And I mean, yes, there is always going to be challenges. There's always going to be action that needs to be taken. Can't just let everything fall into our lap. We need to take action.
yeah,
But yeah, that the intuition um, flows in. Well, I mean, when you're in alignment, everything just is easier. It's
Yeah.
just easier.
Yeah. It really is. And I love the magic of it because whenever I start to feel and struggle, I'm like, I'm going to stop pushing and I'm going to meditate. Whereas we've been trained, at least I know that I was, is like, oh, you're stuck. You got to push through it. And now I'm like, hell no, and sometimes, it's like weeks that I'm stuck and I'm just surrendering and not doing a lot. I mean, I'm doing other stuff, but I'm just waiting because I've learned that things are going to drop in when they need to drop in and when I'm ready. It's so interesting. So I know that we're coming close to the end of our time together. Is there one thing that you want our audience to go like, oh, this is something that, or something, is there something else that you want to share with our people or something intuitively that's coming in that like, this is a message for today or something?
I would like them to remember um, that we're connected.
Yeah.
This has been one of the biggest things that has been coming up in the last little bit, and it's a reminder that we are connected, which is where, I mean, the grids, and I mean, if we're connected to the earth, we're connected to the sky, we're connected to ourselves, but we're not just connected to
Yeah.
ourselves, we're connected to everything. And so when we work on ourselves, when we do whatever we do, it just doesn't affect us, it affects somebody else. So
I love that, Shari. And that's actually
be
the perfect
yourself,
message.
be your amazing, beautiful selves, because I mean that is, who we are meant to be. And yeah, you're just gonna help elevate the world.
I love this, so it's a perfect message, but I love that you were like, yeah, it's about the connectedness. Cause when we remember that it makes it a little bit harder to hate another human being.
Mhm.
And it creates an opportunity to open the space. And I love that. So before we go into very quickly how people can reach you and about the Brave Leaders Rising Nation event next week, which is going to be super fun, amazing people there. Can you tell us one thing, being a member, that has impacted you or that has shifted or your experience with us at Brave Leaders Rising?
So it actually, yeah, this whole connection thing, it plays right into Brave Leaders Rising, really. I mean, connecting with the beautiful souls that are also in it. You have allowed me to actually find my voice and speak it and put this message out there. I wouldn't have been able to do this last year. So, yeah, I'm blessed to have found you. I
Oh,
know that you've helped me a lot, and I wouldn't, you know, anybody who joins would be lucky to be mentored by you, because you are the mentor. Right? Yeah, the heart-centered mentor, which is what we do.
thank
Yeah,
you. Don't make
yeah.
me cry. So Shari's brilliant. She's so amazing. If you want to work with her or learn more about what she does, go to sharilillico.com/services. And if you want to test out our Brave Leaders Rising, braveleadersrising.com/events, as I mentioned, is €22 to €99 per month. You can cancel at any time. So check into your heart, check into your soul, and you will know if you feel called to be there. Shari, thank you so much for sharing your deep wisdom with us. You are so super amazing.
Thank you for having me, Cindy. It was an honor and a blessing.